A week ago, President Trump had threatened to hit Iran hard, but he appears to have backed off, suggesting instead Iran's collapsing economy will give the US leverage. Now, the US did this earlier in April when it imposed a naval blockade on Iran's southern ports. 90% of the country's trade depends on maritime routes. Now, the blockade reportedly prevented 1.5 million barrels of crude oil from being exported. Then you have the Iranian petrochemicals. About 54 million of it was stalled. And non-oil exports such as minerals and metals of about nearly 80 million were also stalled. Now, while we were looking at the exports, the disruption affected Iran's economy. Now, the restriction on imports affected its day-to-day life. Now, an estimated $160 million of basic items such as food, industrial inputs, and machinery were off the table. But despite the pressure, Iran's long-struggling economy appears to be surviving. Now, the Strait of Hormuz is effectively closed. Now, we have seen some attacks on ships and oil tankers and cargo vessels that have been reported. Nearly one-fifth, that's before the war, nearly one-fifth of global oil and natural gas pass through this narrow waterway every single day, nowhere near the trickle it is now. Now, in July, the US attacked several targets right across Iran for nearly 2 weeks. Now, despite damaging critical sites, it was still unable to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Now, in the past week, we have Iran and Oman, which share the Strait of Hormuz, saying they are on a final deal looking at establishing a new maritime route. But Iran's foreign minister says it still does not mean the strategic waterway is reopening. Now, this has created further uncertainty in the global crude oil markets.